We have about 30 books that we need to haul together. We have fantasy, we have fantasy romance, we have cozy fantasy, we have YA, I have cowboy romance, I have special editions. Make sure you grab a coffee, a tea, a water, a snack. Love a snack around these parts. And let's talk about some books. Hello besties, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Tori if you're new. I'm going to try my best not to turn this into book reviews because I don't know what it is lately. I have been buying books and reading them right away. My physical TBR is dwindling because I'm reading them with such a quickness. That's not a bad problem to have, but you know what it does mean? I get to buy a lot more books because I need to. Let's start with probably the books that I was most excited to haul because they're gorgeous special editions of one of my favorite series of all time. I will not hear criticism about these books. I love these so much. I made reels and YouTube shorts about them because I had to show like close-ups. They're just beautiful, gorgeous, stunning, and that is of course the Folk of the Air series. Fairy Loot put out this special edition series. I can't describe to you how gorgeous they are. The gold sprayed edges are one of the best things I've ever seen in my whole life. They're so metallic and beautiful. The end page art for all of these are so beautiful. I cannot get over it. Oh my gosh, my baby boy. So we have How the King of Elfhame Learned to Hate Stories. All of these are by Holly Black, obviously. The Cruel Prince. Oh my gosh. Jude, my freaking queen. Oh my god, them. Incredible. Also, let me show you the naked hardcovers because these are, I honestly didn't know if I wanted to display them with the dust jackets on or without because the naked books are so beautiful, gorgeous, stunning. And then The Wicked King and The Queen of Nothing. So stinking gorgeous. Like, please, the little underwater crown. I'm sob crying. Incredible. And then The Queen of Nothing, her with the snake, I literally scream every time I see it. It looks so good. Oh my god, like shut up. If you have not read this series yet, you need to. It's a book community classic at this point. If you love fantasy with romance in it, highly, highly recommend. If you like more political leaning fantasies, I think that you will like this. But the yearning and the banter, I think that this series ruined me for any banter going forward because Jude and Carden set the tone. They set the bar so high, and it's very few and far between that I find a book where they have better banter than these two. Keep it going with another YA fantasy. I know that we all like freaked out about this when it came out. I need to take this sticker off desperately. Fearless by Lauren Roberts. This is the finale book in the Powerless trilogy. This is a series that even though these books can be quite chunky, the first book I think is the shortest and then they get longer from there for a trilogy. You can read them so fast. Like almost 600 pages who? No, I am telling you this book is going to read like it's 300 pages. So Fearless by Lauren Roberts. I wanted to get the pink edition of this, but I got the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition with the red, and it reminds me of Christmas every time I look at it. Okay, let's go back to a couple books that I hauled kind of a while ago. I have read all of these and loved them so much. Truly cannot stop screaming from the rooftops about these books. Hungerstone by Kat Dunn. I, on a whim, got the audiobook for this, I think on Everend. It just like popped up as a suggested read, which is crazy because Everend's algorithm in suggesting books is very hit or miss. But this one popped up. It had sapphic vampires, and those two words say less. Immediately I'm going to read it. So I listened to the audiobook. The audiobook for this is incredible. Upon finishing, I said, no, I need to get a physical copy of that and read that physically and annotate it. Then I sent my annotated edition to one of my besties, and now I need to reread this one and annotate it. I have bought this book twice because I've loved it so much. Hungerstone is, like I mentioned, about like sapphic vampires. It has I don't want to say it's a Carmilla retelling because she is present, but her character is an influence on our main character. So I don't think it's a retelling per se, but I love how the Carmilla archetype vampire character shows up in here and really like moves the chess pieces around the board and influences a lot of events. We're in the Industrial Revolution. Our main character, Lenore, is 10 years into her marriage and it's not the happiest. She's acting like a shell of a person, and we have this Carmilla character who shows up. She's weak and pale during the day, but vibrant at night. Carmilla, who stirs up something deep within Lenore, and before long, girls from local villages fall sick, consumed by a terrible hunger. Carmilla kind of sparks this conversation and starts to challenge Lenore, asking her, well, what do you want? Like, what do you want out of your life? And Lenore is just speechless. She's angry at Carmilla for asking her those questions because she was always taught, I'm not supposed to want anything. I'm supposed to want what my husband wants. I'm supposed to play this role. And if I start thinking about what I want, I'm going to have to feel what I've been trying to suppress. Lenore stops fighting against those feelings and she figures out what she is hungering for. And we don't necessarily mean hungering as in appetite, but more like wants and desires out of life. It's a beautiful feminist story. I cannot rant and rave about this enough, and I will be reading everything that Kat Dunn puts out. We said that we weren't going to do reviews, but you needed to have a review of this book. The Goddess of and Even in Death by Randy Garner. If you want to just purchase these physical copies to have beautiful covers on your shelves, I wouldn't blame you. These have some of the best covers I've seen in a very long time. These are on Kindle Unlimited. I don't think that these books get enough hype. They're a very bloody, gruesome story about kind of a war between gods and goddesses versus humans and witches. We'll talk about the first book, which is The Goddess of. Naya is the daughter of the high sea goddess. She doesn't have powers. And so the title of this, I know, throws a lot of people off because The Goddess of, it feels like an incomplete sentence, but that's how our main character, Naya, feels. She feels like an incomplete goddess because her powers haven't manifested. When the day arrives for her arranged marriage, she turns to the high god of death and curses for help. He assists Naya under one condition: she must accept a curse blindly, and she's willing to do whatever it takes, so she says, yes, curse me, I literally don't care. She flees to the mortal land. She finds someone willing to help her, a mortal willing to help her and hide her, but she cannot let them know that she's a goddess because they hate the gods and the goddesses. This book was amazing. The second book is even better. The second book has one of the best gay relationships I've ever read. I am still so freaking obsessed with Finian and Cassian. I love them so much. This one is about a witch who has the power of necromancy, warring but also falling in love with the god of death and curses. It's so good. We're just gonna switch it up because this is the only cowboy romance that I have in this massive pile of books. So we're gonna talk about Wild and Wrangled by Lila Sage. I just finished this like last week and it was so freaking good. 4 stars. I love Cam. I love Dusty. Couples that she writes are incredible. They're really short books as well. These are such good like palette cleanser books. If you want something fast, fun, especially for summer, these are such good like beach reads or by the pool reads. All of them are like a little over 300 pages. Please just know that Dusty is Casey from Yellowstone. So gorgeous, beautiful, stunning, blonde, longer hair, steel blue eyes, except he has a nose piercing and full tattoo sleeves. Okay, another series that I had to buy because the covers are so incredible. Basically, they gave the series the covers that they deserved from the very start. These covers encompass these books so well, and that is the Saints of Steel series by T. Kingfisher. So another 4 books that I've hauled because these covers are absolutely everything. These are cozy romantic fantasies about paladins who have lost their god. Their god died. No one knew that that was possible, but it is. And so these heartbroken, basically medieval knight aesthetic, except they're paladins, so they were like fighting for sort of a religious cause, but they're giving knights, basically, if you don't know what a paladin is, because I didn't. They are broken people. They feel very broken. They have a lot of trauma from their god dying on them, and then they find love in very different ways. There's usually cozy mysteries involved in these. Even though they're cozy, there are stakes. There is blood in all of them. There are like dead bodies. There are crazy things that are happening. It's such a good balance between adventure stories mixed with a romance, and they're so freaking funny. You will be laughing out loud. I don't think I've ever laughed out loud so much at freaking ink on a piece of paper reading these books. I have read the first 3, and I have Paladin's Faith left, and I'm sad that the series is going to be over because I've loved it so freaking much. So yes, we hauled all of the new covers, and they're beautiful, and I need to find somewhere to display them as they deserve to be displayed. Let's just do, I think this is our last series. These were gifts, but I'm counting them as hauls because, oh my god, they're so heavy, because I'm so excited to read these. It's the first 3 books in the Zodiac Academy series. I have been terrified of this series, okay? But one of my besties sent me annotated copies of these, and I'm so excited to tee-hee and ha-ha and probably get my heart broken by these books while reading all of her little notations. So that would be The Awakening, and these are by Caroline Peckham and Suzanne Valenti. These are also like classics at this point in the book community, and I still haven't read them. The Awakening, Ruthless Fae, which is the second one, and the third one, which is The Reckoning. I can't wait for these. Let's go through some special edition books because that would just be fun. You know what I mean? Let's look at some more pretty books together. This was the, I guess it would have been the May Fairy Loot Romantasy book only box book that was sent. Why did I feel like I said all of those words like so many freaking times in that sentence? This is Broken Souls and Bones by LJ Andrews. I'm a little nervous about reading this one because Viking books or like Viking aesthetic books don't typically work for me, or like I just don't have a lot of interest in them. And that's what this one is. The art is really, really cute for it though. And then this is the Naked book, which is also so beautiful and cool. And then the back, look at his, can we just all admire his slutty skirt slit? Like, what are you even talking about? He is working that leg like crazy. He outshines her in this art, truly. So anyways, and then these are the sprayed edges. Beautiful little wolfie with a purple flower moment. Together, they'll restore a broken kingdom or burn it to the ground. They're in a kingdom that's very divided, long time divided. Lyra intends to live a quiet life to avoid attention of magic-obsessed King Dahmer until Rourke Ashwood, the monarch's silent but obviously irresistibly handsome soldier, invades her village and uncovers Lyra's secret that she is a melder. Gifted in the 3 magical crafts, bone, blood, and soul, a melder is highly sought after, but there is a price. Their magic is also the seed of their destruction. She's forced to reveal her ability. She's claimed for the king. She's the captive of this broody, handsome soldier, and she's going to try to escape because she doesn't want any of that. This is one, I'll probably give it a chance because it's Fairy Loot, and they either go one of 2 ways for me. I freaking love them with everything in me, or they're very mid. So this one could go either way. I probably will still read it before I decide whether or not I'm going to unhaul it. Broken Souls and Bones. Let's do, okay, before we get to ones that are my absolute freaking favorite books of all time, basically of this year, let's do this one. Shield of Sparrows by Devney Perry. The sprayed edges on this are so beautiful. I'm gonna try to come back to this. I like soft DNF'd it. We're not going to talk about it. I'm going to try to come back to it with the audiobook and see how I feel because maybe the audiobook will pull it through for me. Oh my god, also these end pages. This I'm not, like, I can't unhaul this because it's just such a pretty book. Even if I don't like love it, I kind of just have to keep it, right? In this book, these kingdoms are haunted by monsters. Monsters that just are out to kill humans. The gods cursed these kingdoms with monsters. We don't know too much about that quite yet, but our main character is kind of like the spare princess. She has grown up, her parents have always treated her like a spare because her sister was being trained to be this like sparrow, which is essentially the kingdom's just like intermarrying, and it's a role that they have agreed to in this like treaty essentially called the Shield of Sparrows, where in order to keep the peace between the 5 kingdoms outside of the monsters that are attacking them all, they have to intermarry to keep the peace. Anyways, my sister revels in the spectacle, basking in the attention and flawlessly playing her part. I was never asked to be part of the charade until the day a famous monster hunter sailed to our shores, the day a prince walked into my father's throne room and ruined my life because they decided they didn't want the sister that was trained for this role. They wanted our main character. Okay, let's talk about some of my favorites. This is one of my favorite books of the entire year. 6 out of 5 stars. I love this book so much. We have such incredible knights. We have creepy, like religious omen things that are happening. We have sort of an adventure tale. We have the best banter. Truly. Comparable to Holly Black. I don't have words to describe this book. It has sword sprayed edges, first of all. Incredible. The end pages are absolutely stunning. And it has a really pretty metallic embossment. Also, this book is like so heavy. Like the paper that they used, I don't know. This book weighs like 5 pounds. It's a very satisfying book to hold. Sybil is what they call a diviner. She's like a seer. The process in which they divine is insane. Just FYI, and like so gruesome. But Sybil is our main character. She is a foundling girl who traded a decade of service for a home in a great cathedral. And so in her dreams, when she divines for people, she receives visions from 6 unearthly figures called the Omens. From them, she can predict terrible things before they occur, and lords and common folk alike travel across the kingdom to have the diviners tell them their future, basically. Just as she and her sister diviners near the end of their service, a mysterious knight arrives at the cathedral. Rude, heretical, and devilishly handsome, the knight, Roderick, has no respect for Sybil's visions. But when Sybil's fellow diviners begin to vanish one by one, she has no choice but to seek his help in finding them. I need to put that book down because I will go on for like 20 minutes. But we have another favorite to talk about. This is a Fairy Lit special edition of The Wind Weaver by Julie Johnson. Another favorite book of the year. Also, it's such a beautiful edition. Like, I will never get over how freaking pretty this book is. I don't even know where to start with this one either. It has incredible elemental magic. In this book, we have a prophecy that's surrounding our main characters. A prophecy reignited, a storm unleashed, a love that could shatter everything. We have a war-torn world that we're dropped into. There's a fear of magic. It's spelt differently in this book, so please know I know how to say magic. A fear of magic plagues the corner of the kingdom, and halflings like Rhea Fleetwood are hunted and killed. So we meet her when she's a captive and she's destined for execution, and then she becomes a captive of a different person. These remnants get reincarnated time and time again, and again, it's their fate to find balance for the world. But when they fail, they have to wait for another soul to get reincarnated in order to do what they need to do. And so they have failed multiple times, and we're hoping that this time they don't fail. Please read this. Please read this one too. This is Direbound by Sable Sorensen. I just finished this recently and it was so freaking good. This has dire wolves in it. It's sort of like wolf versus vampire setup. I am so back in my wolf and vampire era. It honestly makes me want to reread Twilight. This is so good, except this is nothing like Twilight. The comparisons for this book are like a Fourth Wing meets Hunger Games. I don't really see the Hunger Games comparison because this is not dystopian, but Fourth Wing Yes. We have our main character, Marin Cooper. Her sister gets kidnapped from this very mysterious kidnapping ring that's been going on in the slums where she lives. The only way she can save her sister is by joining and enlisting in the army. But when she does so, she doesn't realize that it is the year of the bonding trials, meaning all soldiers are forced to risk their lives to connect with a direwolf, and Marin is thrown into this deadly competition. It's fourth wing with like the military school, except instead of bonding to dragons, you bond to direwolves, and she needs to survive her training at the castle before she's even able to start searching for her sister. But the other trainees would love to spill her common blood, and her gorgeous instructor, Stark Therian, is as malicious as the wolves himself. Another book that like I can't say anything else because I will just scream, cry, throw up because I've already read it and I loved it, and it was 4.5 stars. A book that I do think is comparable to Hunger Games is Silver Elite by Dani Francis. Obviously I hauled this. Everyone has been losing their freaking minds. Actually, everyone has been losing their minds over like all of these books, and I get it, and I'm here for it, and I love hyped books. I love being on the hype train, choo-choo, for these books. Silver Elite by Dani Francis. This is probably the first dystopian book that I have read since Hunger Games was being released, and I read those books in like high school. This has got me back into my dystopian era. Like, I want to read so much more. Ren Darlington has been hiding who she is her entire life. She is one of the modified, which basically in this world means certain death. Modified are people who have psychic abilities. She has been aiding the rebel uprising in small ways. Ren is one of the most powerful mods in existence. When one careless mistake places her in the hands of the enemy, she's forced to join the Silver Block, which is the most elite military training program. She's finally handed the perfect opportunity to strike a devastating blow from inside their ranks. So we have double agent Ren. This is so high stakes. I couldn't put this down. This book ruined my sleep schedule. Addictingly bingeable. Okay, these final books that we have to haul are so random and so different from each other. This book sparked something in me and gave me the confidence to read a book I have been eyeballing for literal years, and I have been too afraid to pick up, and then I finally bought a physical copy of it, because for me, when I buy a physical book, it puts pressure on me to like actually read it because I own it. That's The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. I read Priory of the Orange Tree and absolutely freaking loved it. But this one scares me because it's a dystopian, like, sci-fi fantasy series. I've heard that it's a good mix of both sci-fi and fantasy, which I think will do good things for my brain. Welcome to Scion. There's no safer place. We are in the year 2059, and for 2 centuries, the Republic of Scion has led an oppressive campaign against unnaturalness in Europe. In London, Paige Mahoney holds a high rank in the criminal underworld. The right hand of the ruthless White Binder, Paige is a dream walker, a rare and formidable kind of clairvoyant. Under Scion law, she commits treason by simply breathing. Can you see the comparison? You know what I mean? When Paige is arrested for murder, so she clearly makes a mistake and gets caught by the enemy, she meets the mysterious founders of Scion who have designs on her uncommon abilities. If she is to survive and escape, Paige must use every skill at her disposal to put her trust in someone who ought to be her enemy. There were enough similarities between this and Silver Elite that it like gave me the confidence to want to read it. And when I was in the bookstore, I read the first page and it wasn't as scary as I thought it was going to be. I don't know why, but sci-fi in my brain is like the most intimidating thing in the whole world. And so if I hear any inkling of sci-fi, I'm like, ooh, scared. Oh, I'm scared. It's an uncompleted series, even though it's been out forever, but there's like 5 books I want to say that are out, and they're all really chunky. So if I get into this, there's going to be a lot to read, which is very exciting. Okay, the rest of these are quite random and different from each other. We have House of Blight by Maxim M. Martineau. I read this as soon as it came out. It was really, really good. The romance in this had me gagged. Okay, wait. This actually has a similar romance setup to this. And that's kind of all I'm gonna say, but it's so much shorter. This read so quickly. If you want a book to just like absolutely fly through, this is it. It's like a fae gothic tale. The gothic really got me in this, and at first I didn't really see where the gothic was coming from, and then as you continue reading, you get where the gothic is coming from. We have Adira, who's a thread mender. When she uses her powers, she can save another person's life, but it takes time off of her own lifespan, and she doesn't know how much. So every time she uses her power, she loses a little bit of her own life, which is great because there is a crazy like plague disease that is so deadly in her world. She's always kept her abilities hidden until the powerful Fernglove family discovers her secret. The Ferngloves are fae, they're charming and beautiful, they possess powerful magic, they don't take no for an answer. So when Adira's brothers contract this blight, this plague in the world, which is an illness that's too strong for her to heal them both, Oren offers to help, who is part of the Fernglove family. Oren slows their sickness and Adira hones her magic. His kindness and honesty surprise Adira, as does her undeniable attraction to him. So they team up to try to find a cure for this illness, and let's just say Adira discovers a lot of suspicious things that are going on when she is in this like fae castle. This is a YA dark academia. I think that's all that needs to be said about this. I did try to read it. That's all that needs to be said about that book. Another one of my besties sent me a beautifully annotated copy of Bitterthorn by Kat Dunn, which is perfect because I read Hungerstone, freaked out about it, and now I have a beautiful annotated edition of this book to get into. Bitterthorn is another sapphic book. Once a generation, a witch claims a companion from the town of Bloomwald, never to be seen again. Time is drawing near once more. Mina, daughter of the Duke, has lost all hope of any future in Bloomwald, so when the witch appears, Mina offers herself up. Though she has no idea what fate awaits her, stranded with her darkly alluring captor, the mystery of what happened to the previous companions draws Mina into the heart of a terrifying secret. I don't know what else to say. These are two books that I bought on Independent Bookstore Day. We were in Flagstaff, Arizona, which is like just the coolest city, small town city to be in. This bookstore had an amazing lit fic section, so obviously I bought two lit fics. I bought We Could Be Rats by Emily Austen. I read another book by her earlier this year. I think it's called Interesting Facts About Space, and love her writing style, so I'm very excited to get into this one. This does have content warnings, so please check those out before picking this up. It's very short. It has a really beautiful cover also, like this pink, obsessed. Also, there's a rat eating a hot dog on the back of it. Also obsessed with that. That is so me. We have two sisters. They have very different stories from each other, very different, even though they're sisters, like they grew up very different. So we have Sigrid, who doesn't love her life. She doesn't love growing up. She didn't graduate high school. She prefers to roam the streets of her small town with her best friend Greta, the only person in the world who has ever understood her. She was never close with her older sister because her older sister doesn't understand this mentality of like not wanting to grow up, because Margaret conforms much more to the expectations of society. So Sigrid's detachment veils a deeper turmoil and sensitivity. She's haunted by the pains of her past. Margaret sets out to understand Sigrid and the secrets she has hidden. Both sisters, in their own time and way, discover that reigniting their shared childhood imagination is the only way forward. So I think you can tell, like, there's definitely some content warnings, triggers, subject matter that's going to be covered in here. I'm fully preparing myself to be emotionally destroyed by this book, as I was with Interesting Facts About Space. But at least in that other book, Interesting Facts About Space, Emily Austen brought a lot of humor to the situation, even though it was covering heavy topics, and I really enjoyed her writing style, and so I'm hoping that something similar happens here, but I'm expecting to be devastated. And then the second one that I picked up is The Heart in Winter by Kevin Barry. I've never heard anyone talk about this book, but the cover really drew me in. We are in October of 1891. A hard winter approaches across the Rocky Mountains. We're in Montana. which is rich in copper mines and rampant with vice and debauchery amongst a hard-living crowd of immigrant Irish workers. Here we find Tom Rourke, a young poet, a ballad maker of the town, but also a doper, a drinker, and a fearsome degenerate. He feels his life is heading nowhere fast. Polly Gillespie, I don't know if that's how you say her last name, arrives in town as the new bride of an extremely devout mine captain. But a thunderbolt love affair sparks between Tom and Polly, and they ride out west on a stolen horse, moving through the badlands of Montana and Idaho, and briefly an idyll of wild romance perfects itself. Literally, shut up. It's like a Western where they run away together. I don't know how I'm gonna feel reading a book like this, like basically a cowboy romance, sort of, written by a man. That's a new experience for me. But I'm gonna try it and see how it goes, and I'll let y'all know. And then the final book that we're gonna talk about, if you could see the pile of books in front of me after filming this, it's actually insane. Because I don't organize them. Once I talk about them, I just throw them in a big pile. Riftborn by Greenwich and Lennox. This cover also, we have so many freaking stunning covers lately. I will be very honest. I don't know what this is about. Lately, going into a lot of fantasy romances blind has worked for me. And so it's kind of what I want to do with this. This is one that I've heard a lot of people talking about recently. And I think it's because the next books in the series have come out fairly recently. So that's probably why. But I want to give it a try. Let's just read the tagline together because I think I can handle that. He was striking in a cold-blooded kind of way. Like his beauty was tinged with poison. Okay. Unassuming, alluring even. I brought my eyes up to meet his. Fia Riftborn, the words dripped from his lips like blood from a dagger. Oh, this writing style seems like it's gonna be for me. I can tell you that much. Those are the like 25 to 30 books, somewhere in that range, that we have hauled recently. If y'all have read any of these books and loved any of them, please let me know in the comments down below. Let me know if you've hauled any of these books recently, or what have you picked up for your summer reading? I need to know. I will catch you in the comments, and I will see you in my next one very soon. Bye, friends. This is the aftermath of the book haul.